With Rob Lewis, Jesse Simonton, VolQuest.com. Little 2-minute drill. Recapping the South Carolina win for Tennessee. Jeremy Pruitt, very positive about kind of his team's performance, but also saying it was just 1 week, Rob, and now he'd like to see them kind of string together consecutive games as they're still technically looking for that elusive perfect game in Jeremy Pruitt's mind.
Yeah, and you can see why he's interested in that. You look at these last 4 games on the schedule, not only are they all winnable, with the way Missouri's imploded, with Kentucky's quarterback situation, Tennessee may very well find itself as the favorite in these next 4, and it's an incredible opportunity to finish the season in a way that just simply didn't look possible two months ago.
Jeremy Pruitt, did note that the offense basically kept the team kind of afloat in the first half on Saturday against South Carolina, and then once they made some adjustments defensively, it kind of became that full effort. He obviously praised the special teams, scoring 2 touchdowns, but he again continued to back Jarrett Guarantano and thought that was the best game he'd played all season, possibly since he'd come to Tennessee.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting where, he, as you mentioned, he backed him, he defended him a little bit, saying that, the perfect throw he made to JaJuan in the third quarter for a touchdown, where it ended up being his last throw of the game, quote, that's the Jarrett I've been seeing in practice since back in August. That's not the Jarrett we've been seeing on Saturdays, but there were a lot of big things to take away from that game, but it was just remarkable that they played, essentially counting JaJuan, played 3 quarterbacks, one of whom is as green as you can get, and JT Shrout. They throw for 351 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jeremy
definitely had some jokes today on the media session saying that, with all 3 quarterbacks available now this week, Brian Maurer will return to practice. JG won't practice Monday, but will be back out there Tuesday. They could rotate them like Spurrier. We'll see kind of what the plan is. It sounds like right now they're pretty open, and maybe they'll really, firm something down later in the week.
Yeah, and it's a good problem to have, because now that you've seen JT Shrout could go in and be effective in an SEC game, you've got some depth at a position where you started the season with only one guy that had ever taken a college snap, and you're in a much different place now here as we enter November.
Elsewhere, all the praise for JaJuan Jennings, who had a career game, almost 200 total yards on Saturday. Jeremy said that the guys who told him not to let JaJuan back on the team here when he first took the job that December in 2018 don't work here anymore, that he leaned on Trey Smith, Danny Batuli, and a couple who are still in the building that advocated for JaJuan, and certainly that decision's paid off. And Jeremy was about as effusive as he has for any individual player than he was today about JaJuan Jennings.
Yeah, and I thought he made a great point that, that's people deserve, especially young people, a lot of times deserve second chances, and JaJuan is just a snapshot, a perfect snapshot of what can happen when a young man when the light comes on and he takes advantage of those second chances, and he's having a senior year, which, I'm sure he could only have dreamed about.
And then it's a senior year that now that story is the old story. The story now is that he's got his degree, that he's become the leader of this football team, and that, as Jeremy said, they would like, obviously, a team full of JaJuan Jennings, but this team has become contagious to, I think, his passion and energy. As we wrap up here on this 2-minute drill, several injuries to note. Darnell Wright day-to-day with a right ankle. Darrell Taylor day-to-day with a knee contusion. Sounds like we may not see them on the practice field earlier in the week. Limited reps. Also, a lot of praise for Bill Clark and UAB. We'll break it all down the rest of this week at VolQuest.com, so continue to check us out. For Rob Lewis, Jesse Simonton.